Wonder Twins issue 5. Can I just say I was shocked this was issue 5 already? I kind of like
Yeah.
I'm so glad this is up to 12, because could you imagine if there's only one more of these?
No, but again, you could have done seasons. Like there could have been a break in between, and I could have seen it. You know,
There could have been, yeah. I think
leave us waiting a bit.
Clearly this means Byrne can comfortably handle the monthly schedule.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he can handle it, may as well.
So this issue was funny as it has been, you know, very cheery and delightful, but it got actually very dark and got very real in this issue. Right from just like finding out about why Philomath. Okay, I'm just checking the pronunciation. You know, his daughter's mad that he's with the Legion of Annoyance.
Yep.
And he explains how he ended up with Lex Luthor and how no one else would hire him despite his degree. And it clearly implies it's because he's black. It clearly implies racism. And I thought that was a really like sort of, oh shit, that felt like a nice little sharp blow there. Like, you know, I'm surprised they went there, but it was like a really nice moment.
Because the first bit of that is it's like, oh, you know, the Philo resume looks great. You know, is that Norwegian? And then they see him, and it's like, we don't really need your specialty right now.
Yeah, and that's, oh man.
Yeah, it's like
that's a punch in the gut.
I think it's a punch in the gut, especially in this, because it's like it's such a light-hearted, fun book, but it is. So it really jolts when they start bringing this into it.
What was particularly jarring about that is, you know, I mentioned the Norwegian thing is when it's still an immigrant, right? You're like, no, Norwegian, right? You know, they're completely fine with it.
Because they assume that Norwegian means white.
Exactly.
Right.
And then they see, you know, okay, this guy's he's an American. But no, it's not having it. Yeah.
But I guess even worse, because later on, so the Wonder Twins have basically arranged as Zan calls it, a battle royale with the Annoyance members who are left.
Yeah.
And the old lady's got this Kryptonian phone that can zap people, because Kryptonians had smartphones. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, the Kryptonian tech that she's using is a phone, so
sure.
You know, she's misusing.
I was being facetious. I wasn't really.
I know. But
so it zaps people if you're afraid of them.
Yeah, and we see it happens to an animal, and in fact, I love the line actually. Zan comes out of a drinking fountain, and he's like, you know, total hydration as he's coming out with a fly kick.
Total refreshment.
That was it. That really made me laugh. But it gets really dark again because she ends up disintegrating Philo, and
accidentally.
I mean, it's accidentally, but like, well, you say accidentally.
Okay, accidentally that it was him.
Yeah.
Sure.
But again, remember how it works.
Yeah. So it only works because she's scared of him.
Yeah.
Right. And people see this, and it becomes this thing where she essentially, you know, quote unquote, shot a black man, and a lot of it becomes about the media like defending her, and you know why she shouldn't actually go to jail, and you know we see you know his daughter at home is like crying her eyes out, and he you know she's getting off scot-free. You know, like
there was a line which is on the phone to Lex. She goes, "Oh, you disintegrate one black man, and everyone assumes you're a racist."
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, yeah.
That's went places. It went places very quickly. And
it's so whiplash because then, you know, the page after that comment there, you have Lex and Balances, you know, where Lex is judge, jury, and executioner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about this?
Well, I think that the point is just how absurd the media is and how absurd they'll treat a subject like this, but it's clearly a lot. I mean, I don't want to say simple, but it's clearly a much more serious subject that shouldn't be paraded around in a form like this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, so it really has, and the whole point is that the Scrambler was asking him to like be part of this evil scheme that he's got, but by the end, his daughter decides to help him because of what the world's happening. And again, it's another example of the system. We were joking earlier about Harley being created by the system. The system is kind of turning her into a villain.
And this comes way back around from the start of this issue, where you know, they're talking, and she says, you know, some people are born to be heroes or villains, but most of us, it's just, you know, wherever life, you know, leaves us to end up. You know, it's all the circumstances. Shit happens, and you make the best of it. And it's kind of like, these League of Annoyances, they're not necessarily terrible people, is what she's saying. Not all of them. You know, some of them, like her father, is just shit happened, and this is where he ended up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Well, I like that the Scrambler has this whole soliloquy on magic when he's talking to Philomath, that what he learned is that when he was a magician, because that's where the former magician card comes into play.
yeah,
that Pete
he's
was talking about.
he's in the Alliance of Magicians with Joe Bluth.
Yeah.
They demand to be
Yes.
taken seriously. You see. Actually, I was
It's the
laughing
final
during
countdown.
this because when he was describing all this, I'm like, this is just a speech from The Prestige. I know where you're going with this because I've seen The Prestige.
Yeah.
Well, I like that too, but I like his overall point was like, well, no, people don't like magic. They like seeing the magic, but they like being reminded that everything's going to go back to normal, right?
Yeah.
That's why
Put everything
that's
back
where
in
the
the
trick
box.
is,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, so I like that, and I like the art that accompanied it because you have him turning a woman into a mermaid, and then the other half of her legs go to the fish, and it's walking around on stage, and then she
she's
puts
just
it back.
flopping around, terrified.
Yep, yep. So it makes me wonder what kind of magic he was doing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty impressive magic, let's be honest.
yeah. So, but I liked how that went in with the overall commentary in the issue.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, people say that they like these things, but they really don't.
Yeah.
And so
You've got like Red Flag being terrible still. So yeah, Jenna won't return any of my texts, and I sent her like 50. This is really rude of her.
oh god, yeah.
Yeah. I probably mentioned this the last issue, but I mean, he is wearing a red cap. I don't think that's an accidental thing.
No, it's not.
Not to crack a joke about
Hey.
Matt's red cap.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, this is an Angels hat. Thank you.
he's
That's been their
making
colors
this
since
very
1961.
Making it very clear, yes. But no, I don't think that's unintentional. With the type of character he is and the attitude that he has, and what it's alluding to there. That's actually impressed me because it went to like a really serious place, and it felt like it made a really dramatic point. It still managed to be funny, but it also hit emotionally, and then ultimately at the end we have this ridiculous scrambler. Like he's on every TV in the world. I'm going to scramble everyone's brains in 30 days unless you. What's the demand exactly? Call it a better system.
Change the world to make it a place worth living in for everyone.
Yeah. So his goal's not even that bad. His goal's actually like, as far as villainous schemes go,
It's
it's change the world.
Yeah, it's for the better in theory.
Right.
Just a
But
terrible
leave
way of doing
it. Yeah, but see, the status quo doesn't want that, so they're going to turn them into the villains, and that's what the commentary is.
Yeah.
The whole thing with amphetamine, which it's my favorite name in this book. Her whole thing, she becomes like the barbecue lady that called the police on the black family having a barbecue in the park. And that's what that draws into, and how we give them a pass, but they're actively ruining people's lives. And they don't have to hold to it. So the fact, like, the motivation for the Scrambler is, no, we're going to stop doing stuff like this. But people aren't going to want that. So that's in turn going to turn them into the villains. And I'm wondering how Zan and Jaina are going to have to line up on this.
Mark Russell's impressing me as a writer with this book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I want to go back and Flintstones.
Balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm looking forward to anything Russell does now, to be honest, because I think it's impressing me with the scope of it and the political commentary, but at the same time, it's mixed in with such a great balance of comedy. Everything's working together.
I think Byrne is a fantastic pairing for this book. Every beat is played perfectly with his art, I think.
Yeah, it's great.
Didn't he get nominated for some Eisners for the Snagglepuss book? Mark Russell?
Probably. And I don't remember the whole list, but that sounds quite likely.
Yeah, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but
that was quite well regarded. No, we should mention as well all the people that she was zapping are in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, that's the end of the book.
Yeah.
The reveal is that he's not dead. Math isn't dead. He's in the Phantom Zone. It's the classic. It's the classic diamond glass from the movie.
It's nice to see, isn't
it? Including the animal she's after is behind them, looking confused as all hell.
Yeah, the koala, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully, obviously, he'll survive, and we'll get him back, and we can have a reunion of sorts.
So what you're saying is we can put the status quo back to normal.
That's not the same thing. Hoping the person who was seemingly dead is not dead is not the same as hoping the status quo is back to normal. Thank you very much.
It's not. No, I just thought it would be funny. Yeah. I'll give it 8.5, and I'm very glad that there's 6 more issues to enjoy beyond the one that was expected.
So 7 more issues.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Just
But I
quick.
wanted to, because I started with 6 more, as in 6 more than the what I was gonna get, and then I realized, but there is one other. This one of you guys will pick up on this if I just leave it at that.
Yes. 7 more issues.
Yeah, and then Matt did it anyway.
Matt,
I'm gonna give it an 8. It's really good.
I'm gonna go 8.5 as well. I'm impressed.